NFL player and Auburn football standout Nick Fairley was arrested in Mobile earlier today.
When you think of monstrous defensive linemen, who do you think of? For me, two players. Number one, Ndamukong Suh, who was a baller at Nebraska. And number two, Nick Fairley, defensive tackle for Auburn. Man, oh man, good old Nick Fairley. He is the forgotten superstar of that Auburn team, and he was in Cam Newton's shadow pretty much that entire season. Till this day, Fairley doesn't get the love he deserves just due to the fact Cam Newton is one of the best college football players of all time. Speaking of Fairley, it has me reminiscent on that entire 2010 Auburn team. R.I.P. to Lutzenkirchen, he was one of the better tight ends Auburn's ever had. But like I was saying, Fairley was dang near unstoppable. He won defensive MVP in the national championship, and he had 11.5 sacks and 24 tackles for loss in one season. Many people thought he was going to have a long and very successful NFL career, but however, that didn't happen. What happened instead is an unforeseen circumstance came up and it ended his career. About as quickly as it got going, it ended just like that within a snap of a finger. I will label this as one of the more mysterious football stories we've covered on the channel. There's many questions people have been asked about this guy even till this day. But however, it all circles back to the one. I mean the one big question we're going to try to get to the bottom of in today's video. What really happened to Nick Fairley? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hope all of you having a great day. If not, hope this video can make it a little bit better. Per usual, this video was requested by one of y'all. Thank you. And also, like per usual, your boy Matt can't find the comment. I lost it. That is currently one of my worst habits. I see a recommendation. I'm like, oh, that's a great idea. I jotted down the notes, but I forget to screenshot the comment or save it. So whoever recommended this video, number one, thank you. Number two, I apologize. I can't give you the recognition. No big deal though, like we say on this channel, it is what it is. That's all I gotta say. And by the way, I know I don't say it a lot, but you guys know this. I greatly appreciate all the support we've been receiving in the offseason. I'm glad you like these documentaries as much as I enjoy making them. College football season is right around the corner. You know your boy Matt's excited, but all right, that's enough jibber jabber. Without further ado, let's get into it. You would think coming out of high school, Fairley was a highly sought after and regarded recruit, but that wasn't the case. He was only a 3-star and he was under the radar. As we know, he would commit and sign with the Auburn Tigers, and in 2009, he put up decent numbers, that's what we'll call them. In 13 games played, he had 28 combined tackles, only 4 of those being for loss and 1.5 sacks. It wasn't until 2010 where he would have his breakout season and everybody would know his name. With him being on campus for a couple years, him being in the weight room, and being the guy on the interior defensive line, there was no stopping him. He was primed and poised to have a breakout year. I'll let you take a look at his numbers. In 14 games played, he had 60 combined tackles, 24 tackles for a loss. You're just not going to see that a lot out of an interior defensive lineman, defensive tackle to be more specific. 11.5 sacks. Not bad, not bad. Clap it up, clap it up. Heck of a season. Also, had an interception. He was a monster. And I know it seems like we're kind of just skimming through his collegiate days, but guys, if I can keep things simple, short, and sweet, that's what I strive to do on this channel. There's not a lot to say. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention before we went to Auburn, yeah, this was like a big detail. It would have been bad if I would have left it out of the video. He went to a community college first. Hope I'm saying this correctly. He went to Copiah Lincoln Community College. I know we're going back in time a little bit, but I low-key forgot about that part of his story. I had a good season for them in 2008, and then he would transfer to Auburn. That's why when you see his stats right here, I'm going to pop them back up on the screen. In 2009, his first year at Auburn, it says sophomore. After the national championship game against Oregon, he had a big decision to make. Would he come back to Auburn? Because he did have another year of eligibility left, but he decided to forego it and enter the 2011 NFL draft. I think it was a great choice. I remember back then, everyone was high on him, and there were some talks about him going in the top 5, top 10, but he did get selected with the 13th overall pick by the Detroit Lions. I also remember thinking how crazy it was the Lions got him. If you know, you know. Let me give you a refresher if you don't know what I'm talking about. The Lions already had Ndamukong Suh, and now they're getting Nick Fairley, two of the most dominant college football players of all time. They're getting them on one team, and you could also say two of, dare I say, the dirtiest players of all time. That was one thing about old Nick Fairley and Suh. They weren't the, I'll say, cleanest players of all time. In his first year with the Lions in 2011, he barely played because that Detroit line defensive line, they were stacked. However, in 2012, he appeared in 13 games and started 7 of those. This is where it seemed like he was finally coming into his own. He had 5.5 sacks, 35 combined tackles, and 11 tackles for loss. That 2012 year for the Lions was the Nick Fairley we expected to see in the NFL. Heading into 2013, he had his best year yet. He started every single game, had 6 sacks, career high, 34 combined tackles, with 9 of those being for loss. In 2014, he suffered an injury which ended his season early. He would sign with the Rams in 2015, only had a half a sack that year with 1 tackle for loss and 29 combined tackles. But in 2016 for the Saints, this was his best year up to date. Started every single game for him, had a career high 6.5 sacks, career high 43 combined tackles, and 9 tackles for loss. He was so good that year, matter of fact, the Saints offered him a 4-year, $30 million extension. You gotta think about what has transpired. Throughout his tenure with the Detroit Lions, he was somewhat of a disappointment. He showed flashes of greatness, but I think every Lions fan would agree with me on this and they'd attest to it. He wasn't consistent enough. I know he did battle some injuries there, but the more of the story is they wanted him and they felt like he should have produced a little bit more. But fast forward in time, and here we are with the Saints, and he's looking like a stud. So they offer him this mega contract, and it seemed all fine and dandy, but come to find out, he had some major heart issues. I'm going to read this off word for word. This was back then when they was releasing this report. It's likely that Fairley will never play football again. The 6'4", 308-pound defensive tackle saw at least 3 heart specialists in the lead up to this decision. Appointments that were the result of the team doctor finding an irregularity in his heart after a new contract mandated physical in March. In other terms, after he signed this contract, they were like, well, we need to see you do a physical just to make sure everything's okay, and come to find out everything was not okay. And it's not even just like one doctor told him, oh no, you gotta shut it down. Every doctor he saw was like, yeah, you're donezo's, buddy. Doesn't get any more devastating than that if you gotta ask me. Here's what Adam Schefter tweeted out at the time. Updated. With Saints defensive tackle Nick Fairley being placed on reserve/non-football injury, he's now out for 2017, officially. NFL time could be over. That tweet was in 2017, and guess what? NFL time, or his NFL time, was over. And you gotta think about it, man. What could have been? This is coming off of his best season yet. I don't think it's outlandish to say if he never has to deal with this heart issue, he may be playing till this day as to when I'm making this video. I don't know, maybe that's pushing it a bit, but you get what I'm trying to say. At least there's a chance if he could have stayed healthy. A couple years removed from playing football, he did get arrested on criminal menacing charges. If you don't know what that means, he reportedly and allegedly threatened a person with a gun. I don't want to sit up here and say that's not that big of a deal, but from a person who's from the Southeast, I'm willing to overlook it, especially since then he hasn't gotten any more trouble. Am I taking up for him? No, he shouldn't have done it. It's black and white. But like I tell y'all in these story videos, if you make a whoopsie-daisy mistake, whatever you want to call it, and you clean your act up, I got all the respect in the world for you. Where you're going to see me criticize individuals and certain players is if they make 3 to 4 or 5 mistakes and they keep compounding bad decision after bad decision. But Fairley, I don't know why I've called him Farley all throughout this video. I always called him that growing up. It's Fairley, that's how you actually say it. He didn't get any more trouble, so hats off to him. If you're wondering what he's up to now, he is retired, he's a family man, and there's not a trace of him anywhere on social media. I don't blame the guy, and I don't blame any of these guys that aren't on social media after they retire, because they got enough money. All it is drama, and nothing good more times than not is going to come out of it. He's staying out the way, he's staying out of trouble, and like my grandfather always told me, sometimes no news is good news. So when I'm doing all this digging and research on these players and I can't find anything, that's actually good, for their sake. Shout out to Nick Fairley, though, and if you know anything about his whereabouts, what's he been up to the past couple of years, fill us in the comment section. Many more things I could say, want it off here. I'm curious. Let me know your thoughts on this down below. But